Welcome back. Today we are creating our in perspective Rubik's Cube. Let's go. You're going to need a piece of paper, a pencil, a permanent marker, a ruler, and some color pencils. First, we'll need obviously a piece of paper. We're going to go ahead and add a dot about 1/3 the way down. You're going to grab your ruler, line it up to the edge of the paper to make sure it's straight, and run a really light line all the way across your paper. We're going to do about a finger distance from the edges and add our vanishing points there. One on the left, one on the right. You're going to do a finger from the top about halfway through your line, and then we're going to measure from our dot 5 inches and add a dot. We're going to run our vertical line, and then we're going to mark 3 inches. We're going to mark every inch up to 3 on the right, and every inch up to 3 on the left. Once we have those markings, we're going to connect our vanishing points to the top of our Rubik's Cube and the vanishing points to the bottom of our Rubik's Cube. Once you do that on the right, you're going to go ahead and do that on the left. You don't want to press too hard with these, as some of this will eventually get erased. Once you have what I call your diamond, we are now going to do our vertical lines that touch our diamond. You should have 3 on the left that coincide with the dots that we did, and 3 on the right. Now that our vertical lines are set, let's go ahead and start adding our horizontal lines. If you're using the same measurements, you're going to mark every inch and a half. You should have 2 markings within your Rubik's Cube. We are going to attach the first dot to our right side vanishing point. Make sure you stop at the end of your box. And then we're going to attach the bottom point to the right side vanishing point. We're going to do the same thing on the left side. So top dot to the end of our box and bottom dot to the end of our box. This is going to really start putting the perspective into play. Once you're done with that, go ahead and erase the horizon line that crosses through the middle of your box. We no longer need that there. Now it really looks like the table is behind our Rubik's Cube. For this next step, I'm going to go ahead and speed it up, but you are basically rounding off the corners of every single box we've created to really give it that Rubik's Cube effect. Take as long as you need here. I'm going to go ahead and speed it up a little bit. See you on the other side. As we get to the last one here, just double check that everything is good and we can move on. We're going to start introducing color. You're going to need a yellow, a red, a green, a blue, an orange, and I think that's it for now. We are going to do the left side of our Rubik's Cube first. All the colors on this side are going to be lighter since the sun will be on that side. All these on this side will have a darker shade. Let's go ahead and start with this top corner box. We're going to do that in yellow. You're looking for a medium pressure. What that means is you're not going to press all the way down with your yellow. We want a little bit of white to show through our color. This is what I call an open color. What that means is if I leave my color open, I can allow other colors to come in and create a blend. So we're looking for a light or a medium pressure when we're coloring. You can tell the difference in the picture that I have on the right, top right corner. You see the difference in value from the colors that are on the left-hand side to those that are on the right-hand side. That is what's really going to give that 3D effect. Let's finish this row with a blue. You can always pick whatever colors you want for this step. Just try to keep the value intensity the same, meaning try to press light with these colors on this side. We're also going to use the blue for the first box on the second row. You see how I'm coloring all in the same direction for the most part? You want to go ahead and do that as well. It just gives a much cleaner look to your drawing. We're going to go ahead and speed this up for a little bit. We're going to go ahead and color our middle box in the center row green. Look at how light I'm coloring these colors. Our last box on the center row is going to be red. And then the last box that's going to take color is also going to be red. It's going to be the first one on the last row, so on the right hand side. The last two I'm going to leave white. We are now moving on to the dark side. You can immediately see how much harder I'm pressing with this pencil. We're going to take this opportunity to talk about closing a color. Closing a color is taking it all the way to where it's the hardest, meaning there are no white spots left in that color. What am I doing and why is it so important to press that hard? By coloring all the white spots within the color, you are pushing the white of the paper to the back rather than having it within the color, forcing it to look three-dimensional because of the layering. That color now is going to appear like it is above the white of the paper instead of within the white of the paper. It also leaves a much more finished look, and I tell my students this all the time. The harder you press with a color, the brighter that color is able to shine. Look at the difference between the yellow where I pressed super hard and the yellow that I left open. Look at how dull those colors look in comparison to this side. So there's a lot of things to learn with this exercise. My main one is obviously perspective, but also value and how to properly use color pencils. So we're pressing as hard as we can over here with the green. Just follow my color placement if you want. If not, then just remember, press as hard as you can with these colors. I'm going to finish this last side or the top row with red, and then the middle row will take blue. And we are done as far as coloring on the dark side. We are now going to grab our black pencil and we're going to add the little shadow per cube. It is going to look like the letter L with a little curve where the two lines connect. We are going to do that shape to every single cube. So let's go ahead and speed that up. I'll meet you when we're done. Once we're done with the black highlight, we are now going to use our white pencil to close off the colors. I don't know if you see the difference here, but to close off the colors on the right hand side. A lot of people wonder, why do you take the time to do this if you can't even see the white? Because it creates the illusion that my color is closed. Look at how much cleaner it looks with that white pencil. Trust me, it makes a difference. Now we are going to take a gray pencil and we are going to lightly color over the entire right hand side. We're going to give the illusion that it is in shadow by darkening the entire thing as a whole. When items are in shadow, it just means that there's a gray or black layer of color on top of them. Once you're done with your gray, go ahead and grab your pencil. We are going to draw what's called the casted shadow. The casted shadow is just a shadow created by an object reflected on a floor or a flat surface. That means that your shadow should always be in the shape of your object. If you've ever done puppet shadows, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Those are your casted shadows, the ones projected on the wall. We are going to grab our regular brown, so a darker brown, and we're going to color in our casted shadow. Do not close the color. You want to leave it a little bit open so that we can go ahead and keep adding some blacks and some more browns to blend it in with our floor. Once you've finished your brown, you're going to go ahead and grab your black pencil and you're going to press about 75% of the pressure towards the very end of your Rubik's Cube, meaning the closer you are to the Rubik's Cube, the harder you're going to press with your black. We're going to color about halfway. Try to make the black disappear as you get from the left hand side of the shadow to the right hand side of the shadow. The most effective way of doing this is releasing pressure as you color. So when you first start coloring, you press really hard, and as you move towards the other side of your square, you release the pressure. That will give it a dark to light effect, which is exactly what we're going for. When you're done with your black, we're now going to start setting in the color for our table. You're looking for a yellow brown or something that resembles a brown that you would find on a table, as long as it's lighter than the brown you used for your shadow. The easiest way to keep things nice and clean is to outline them first. So I'm going to outline the areas around my Rubik's Cube and make that a little thicker and outline my horizon line. And then when I have everything nice and outlined, then I will start coloring in my table. You are closing the color for the entire table. What that means is you are pressing as hard as you can. Look at how bright that color looks. No white spots should be shining through. Is your arm going to hurt? The answer is yes. But we are doing it for the sake of making a good drawing look even better. I'm going to go ahead and sharpen my pencil here. You'll probably have to sharpen yours quite a bit. When we press hard, we do go through that letter quite never mind, I have to sharpen it one more time. It's the worst part of having color pencils, right? Sometimes the pencil tip breaks all the time. I'm going to go ahead and speed this up, and I'll meet you guys when we're done. We are now going to go ahead and do the background. For my background, I chose a light gray, and the reason for that is because gray tends to push backgrounds back, whereas bright white tends to compete with our subject. So what am I doing? I'm pushing our background, which if you don't know what a background is, it's stuff in the back behind the subject. I'm pushing it even further back by adding this light gray layer. You don't want to close the color. You want to leave it about 50% of the way, so only 50% pressure. And it doesn't have to be perfect. We're just going to try to cover all of it as even as we possibly can. Once you have this done, you can go ahead and finish your table. For time purposes, I'm going to leave my table like this, but you can go ahead and close your table all the way to the edges of the paper. Our next step will be our last step, which will be our permanent marker. You are going to go ahead and outline all of your pencil marks, making sure that you take your time and you really curve the edges of all of your squares. This is that pivotal moment between, is it a Rubik's Cube or is it just a cube? Those curved edges around each box is really what's going to set it apart. So take your time, relax your hand, work on your pulse, and just have fun with it. While we're here working on this together, I think this is a good time to remind you that if you enjoy my content and you enjoy doing these little art projects with me, make sure you like and subscribe and share them to other people who you think might like drawing along. Also, if you've already tried some of my other lessons, please tag me on Instagram. I would love to repost and show everyone your creations. Obviously, if you're a minor, ask your parents for permission. If you're an adult joining us, go ahead and tag us on all of your social media. I'm going to try to start TikTok as well. And any little support would be great. Also, I encourage you guys leaving ideas for the next project in the comments and tell me what you like and what you didn't like about this video. I'm always looking to improve. So please, again, like, subscribe to my channel so I can go ahead and keep making these cool videos for you guys. You should be coming to the end of the marker part of your project, and it should start looking like a Rubik's Cube. In the areas where you have the squares meet, go ahead and make them a little darker. Not the ones on the edges, but the ones on the inside. Play with some of that line weight. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Join us next week for LED signs. We're going to make a cute cake. Bye!